Hello everybody and welcome back to Erik's Route. The hour of the house party arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party. Knowing my dad, he invited his business partners and the executives of the Anderson's company to show me off. I stood in front of my mirror in my room, staring at my phone as millions of thoughts ran through my mind. It was just a housewarming party, but at the same time, it wasn't. It was my chance to show my dad that I was better than his expectations. It was a chance for my parents to see me as a woman. It was my test to see if I really was ready to live on my own. Well, not truly alone. I had the incubi to thank, but even so, I didn't have my dad guiding me or my mum helping me through living alone. A knock on my door broke me from my thoughts, surprising me. Who is it?
Hey, are you okay in there? Your parents should be here soon, so you should hurry getting ready.
Well, I'm ready, but...
But what? I'm sure you look fine, Anderson. Just come on out.
Fine. Alright. As soon as I opened the door to the hall, I watched as Naomi and Suzu's face turn from smiles to complete awe-struck stares. What?
Dude, you look hot. Yeah, you look amazing. Where did you get that dress?
I had it for a while. I just haven't had the chance to wear it. I figured I might as well bring it out now. I stepped out of my room and closed my bedroom door behind me. As I walked down the hall to the grand lobby, the incubi stood waiting for me at the bottom, all dressed tonight as proper servants.
Whoa, they really know how to dress well, don't they?
They sure do, Naomi. They sure do. Yeah. I was slightly taken back on how great the boys looked in uniform. Each had the poise of a perfect gentleman, even Sam. I slowly began to climb down the stairs with Suzu and Naomi behind me. The boys watched as I descended the staircase, one step at a time, like knights waiting for their princess. I felt my face slightly flush, but I quickly shook my head to try and regain my thoughts. As I reached the last step, James offered his hand out to me and walked me down the final step, smiling.
As beautiful as a princess, miss.
Thank you.
So, are you prepared for tonight?
No. I couldn't feel confident at all. Something about tonight's frightened me. I couldn't tell if it was the fear of my dad or of the guests that Dad surely invited, but something about tonight's party left me beyond nervous. The boy smiled reassuringly at me, which made me feel a little bit better about everything. I looked at my phone, marked the time. Almost right on cue, the doorbell rang. I gulped. I could practically feel my dad's horror from behind the door. Sam and Erik quickly rushed the door and opened the double doors wide to reveal my parents, both dressed in their best. Hey Mom, hey Dad.
Oh my, I didn't know your bequeathment came with servants.
It was probably overlooked. Besides, who would deny good service?
I was completely shocked. My parents didn't question the boys. They didn't ask for verification or anything. I looked to the boys and noticed Sam and Erik staring intently at my parents. Were they using their powers on them? They had to be. There was no way they'd be okay with this otherwise.
I guess the servants counted as belongings to the house.
My mother quickly rushed to me and gave me a large hug. I hugged her back, inhaling her perfume. It had only been a couple of days, but living away from the ones who raised me was hard. My mother soon let me go and looked at my outfit.
Gorgeous. You look so lovely. David, look at your daughter and tell her I'm right.
I looked to my dad, who was looking around the lobby like an inspector. I stood my ground waiting for him to look at me, and when he did, he let a smile grace his lips.
Your mother's right. You look like you're all grown up.
The world around me stopped as my heart pounded hard in my chest. Did my dad just compliment me on his own accord? My mother was grinning ear to ear at his words. I was beyond speechless. Thank you, Daddy. However, his cold face quickly returned as he began to look around once again.
I assume that you're ready, then, to impress the rest of the guests, correct?
What do you mean?
The entire board from Anderson Toys is coming tonight. Even the vice chairman's son will be coming. All of them will be measuring your potential.
My potential?
To become CEO of the company.
I knew it. Something was off about tonight, and now this party became much more than I anticipated. I gulped silently, but I nodded in response. I looked to the incubi. They were continuing to be servants for my father's approval. I looked behind me and saw Naomi and Suzu raise their thumbs at me for encouragement. I had a small breath before feeling my body accept the situation. I felt the weight in my gut, but I had to hide it. As if time zoomed forward, all of a sudden the main hall of the lobby was full of guests. Men and women in formal and business attire showed up to meet me and see my new home. I didn't expect many of them to come, but I was once again surprised that night. I shook hands with many officials, executive members, putting on the professional face my dad trained me to have. I felt overwhelmed, but I hid it well behind a small smile and a handshake. Many even asked me questions. I tried to reply as maturely as possible. I had to remember, say what they want to hear, not what you want to say.
So, how do you feel living on your own at such a young age?
It's been pretty good, actually.
I'm so sorry about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
Thank you for your
Do you
condolences.
have college plans?
Yes, I do. I felt like the questions came one after another. It was tough to answer some of them because they weren't about me. They were about the company.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
What do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
Do you think the company should expand from just toys?
It's a toy company, why? Eventually, the questions stopped and I was back to being by myself. Naomi and Suzu were mingling in the crowds and the incubator were doing their job, so I was all alone in a room full of strangers. I was unnerving to think about it. At least I wasn't being questioned left, right, and centre anymore. Suddenly, though, my mum pushed her way through the crowd to me, bringing along someone I didn't know.
Honey, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This kind gentleman is the son of the vice chairman.
With my mum stood a man who looked only a couple of years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand to me, suddenly asking for my hand.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lewis. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
I placed my hand in his. He raised it to his lips and kissed over my knuckles. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand.
I'm honored to be invited here.
My mother smiled at both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh promptly before smiling at me.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
How? Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You've helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Whoa, I didn't even know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked at Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Suddenly, something about him seemed off, and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something, whether it was good or bad. I was not able to find out. I felt someone walk up beside me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
Andrew's body twitched slightly, whether it was fear or insult. Andrew locked eyes with my father, and I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become, enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company.
Well...
I stared at Andrew. This guy wants to take my grandfather's place as CEO. I thought the vice chairman wanted the position.
David, leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that.
Of course not, sir.
And polite as well. Interesting.
If you'll excuse me.
Quickly, Andrew retreated away from my family into the crowd of people. Stay put. I watched as he disappeared in the crowd towards the back of the house. I was worried, but I gave him his space. He obviously needed it.
Peh. He's not CEO material.
That's because you practically interrogated the young man.
A little questioning shouldn't have bothered him. He's obviously not ready for any title in our company.
I bit my tongue. I didn't want to make a scene with my dad. One wrong move and he'd be lecturing me in front of everyone, and that was not something I wanted at my housewarming party. I laid it aside before looking at the clock. It was getting close to midnight for the party to end. I lowered my gaze to look out the window and saw a limo pulling up. Who's that limo?
Oh, that must be Lewis's car.
I'll go get him. Stay with your father so you can escort your guests out together.
Yes, Mom. My mom left my dad and me to slowly escort the guests out. My dad held his simple smile as he thanked each person for coming. I did the same. Andrew quickly passed through the doors before he could speak. Eventually, only Suzu, Naomi, and my parents in the incubator were left. My dad suddenly walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder with a smile. I stared up at him. A wave of confusion washed over my face. What?
You did good tonight. I'm proud.
Oh, thank you, Dad.
Keep it up, and you'll be a good CEO.
Oh, right.
All right. Your mother and I have to leave. I'm sure Naomi and Suzu need to leave as well. Just because it's Saturday doesn't mean you should stay up all night.
Oh, right.
Thanks for having us. It was a great party.
We'll come visit tomorrow or something. All right?
Right, see ya.
Good night, sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Will do. All 4 of the remaining guests left the building, all but my dad waving back to me. With the last of the guests gone, I sighed and sat on the staircase, exhausted. Whew.